Cheers. Thank you for having me over. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Buds Aplenty, episode 8. 3 more episodes counting this one, and then we're done with season 1. Crazy that I've actually took the initiative to do something for once instead of sitting around, laying around watching cartoons. That's usually what I do. I've got on the show today. How long have we been friends?
Honestly, not too long.
Like 2 or 3 years,
yeah,
maybe?
It's a new friendship, and I mean, it's just going great. I mean, I'll probably cut you off sometime too. But no, you're reaching your boundaries.
You gotta wean me off the bottle eventually. Yeah, he'll be on his own.
I gotta wean you off.
I gotta wean me. I was thinking that. I'm like, are we really gonna open with that?
I told you I'd get you to talk.
I have Matt Brackney on, one of the many Brackney brothers. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. We're enjoying some Sun King. This back-to-back weeks with Sun King. Sun King Indians Lager, the beer for the Indianapolis Indians.
Beautiful, beautiful can.
Beautiful, like all their
Can't
cans.
tell.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of it?
I think it's delicious. It's very smooth. It has a lot of taste to it, but it's not too overwhelming. It's not too bitter. It's not, which you won't get with lagers, a crazy amount, but at the same time, it's not bitter at all.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful looking beer as well as the can.
I can't get over the can. No, but yeah, it's a beautiful can and a beautiful glass.
Beautiful glass.
Not beautiful, just table.
If you can't tell, we're on low prep. This is like the 3rd time we've tried to start the show.
If only they could see the note card.
the note card, yeah, if only they could see. We got to talking about random topics, and Matt's like, we don't need to talk about that on air. And then I started again, and you start talking about other people. I'm like, we can't talk about this about people.
That's trying to gossip, man. I thought this was like the View. Dylan St. Clair file.
the Washington County View.
Oh man, see, and I could just rant we can't obviously go on for it, but like who would be the best? Who could recreate the View Washington County style? And everyone would just automatically picture people in their head.
Oh yeah, and then we'd have one random guest. We'd be like, and on the phone we have Brad Singleton here to talk about so and so. Brad, what do you think about them? Well, they're just bad. I saw him. He put in a dip, and I just knew he was garbage. Brad will like that. Brad's a regular viewer. So shout out to you, Brad.
Yeah, I was about to say I haven't talked to Brad in forever. Hope he's doing good.
Yeah, Brad let me know. He sent me a Twitter message. I was like,
a Twitter?
Communicate? Slide into the DMs. Like,
y'all don't talk to me anymore. I'm not on Twitter, man.
So you're just out of the loop.
Can't tag me or anything.
You're like 10 years later. You're like, man, I got Facebook. I'm on it now.
I got Facebook down pat. Messenger.
Here we go. I just figured out. I just downloaded Messenger. I know how to talk to people. And then Brad sent me a message, and it was like enjoying what you're doing with the show, and he had my show like up on his TV.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know like the folks back home are enjoying it, enjoying Washington County View.
Dude, you gotta change it to that now.
Well, I've already found my title of the show, Washington County View.
Yes, I'm gonna endorse you though, and then we're just gonna, I'm gonna have to change the name. I'll take over 51% of the company.
51%.
That's all. That's my.
I bought all the equipment.
I'll buy you out, dude.
I thought you were gonna say I'll buy you alcohol. I was like, we'll talk.
Interested?
We'll save that for off-air discussion.
Dylan's a sellout if you didn't catch on already.
No beer.
There's gonna be like slight advertisements. It's gonna be Church's Chicken.
We just need to. I'll start paying like Avery to just walk in the background with random signs. Sun King Brewery. The Stacked Pickle.
Free karaoke on Tuesday nights. By the way, free karaoke tonight.
Oh, it is Tuesday. Why are we here?
See you later, guys.
Oh, no. This is much better than karaoke.
We're going to do an off-premise interview at the Pickle.
What do you think about karaoke? Man, it sucks. I just come for the cheap beer.
Do y'all do beer Olympics anymore?
Everyone's asking about.
Dude, really, though, those are cool. What you should do, though, is you just fade out right now. And then it just comes back on me and you singing like, Journey or something at the Pickle.
Everyone does.
Exactly, yeah. Drunken people are like, don't stop believing, please.
everyone sings the exact same song
Or
every
it's closing
week.
time, and then it's like,
Closing time.
12 o'clock, we got a little while, guys.
9:30, guys. DJ just got on. It's the first song. Come on. That is not what we're here to do. It's not closing time.
Oh, man.
But then the bartender's like, can we just make it last call, please? I want to go home. Grey's Anatomy is on. I want to watch a new episode.
Grey's Anatomy. Don't like it.
I don't either.
Scrubs? Didn't like it.
Scrubs is alright. Scrubs is funny. I have a lot of friends who really love Scrubs.
Losers. No, I'm just kidding. No, I never liked anything in the hospital, like, wise. I don't know if it's anything emotionally or or like that I don't know about, but I just
Strange
don't like
atmosphere,
it.
For it to
don't
be
find
like
it to be
a show.
humorous, at all.
Yeah.
And they're always comedies. Well, I guess Grey's Anatomy isn't at all.
Yeah, kind of it's a drama type stuff, but
100% a drama,
Yeah.
But I guess they do have a little bit of comedy, but not much.
makes me want to ask, what shows have you been watching recently?
Californication, which it's really, I don't like the guy because it's so unrealistic, and the guy's like the guy you love to hate. He's like douchey, like, working around Hollywood as a writer. Have you heard of Californication?
I have heard of it, but I don't know what it's about.
Okay, so it's about this writer, and for those who don't know, it's about this writer, and he has got a divorce. He has a daughter who's really eccentric, and she's kind of a little bit emotional or whatever, and like I said, eccentric. So like, she has like no emotion. Like she acts like she has no emotion. I don't know if she I haven't got too deep into if she like breaks out of that stage or what. She's like a younger 13-year-old daughter, and he's a writer, and he's a very he was unfaithful during the marriage, and he's very sleazy outside now that he's single, and he gets around a lot.
I'm checking the microphone volume. I'm doing this all the time. I have to make sure that the mic is actually on.
I didn't know if you had like a thing where you're like every 15 seconds I gotta stare at the camera for a couple,
Deep thought.
Like look up back at the camera, like stare in the eyes. No, but he just gets around, and like he has all these antics, and then he starts realizing that he's not into that anymore. He's getting older, and he feels bad for his daughter, so he's trying to like slow down. But it's hard for him to leave the party life of Californication. The title would say where he lived. But it's really good, and it's just kind of like funny and like interesting and like fun, like watching him go around and party and following him. But finished Dexter about a year ago to this day.
What did you think of how it ended? Sorry, I have to
Absolutely
do this.
terrible.
You thought? Yeah, I heard a lot of people say it ended.
Only because I feel like they almost did it just in case they wanted it to come back. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they could have done like him thinking he's dying and then him come back, and that's how he survived. And it would be a lane like, oh, like you just decided he survived. You know what I mean? But still, it's like they left it on that. Like he's just going to be a logging truck driver. Like,
yeah,
I
heard a lot of people say
so
like
cheesy.
that last season was kind of.
First off, he's a brilliant person, a genius. You know what I mean? If like they make that clear in the show, that he's super smart, and he's like, even does better than that geeky Asian nerd. Obviously the Asian.
more Hollywood stereotypes. Can't get away from them.
Nice small town. But whenever me and Joe were watching it together, is who I was watching it with. I was trying to think of who was into it with me, and it was me and Joe, and we were watching it when I lived with Isaac Rowan and everyone, and a little bit, and we finally got to it, and like a year later, like we started it, and we just like barely watched it, just like appreciated it.
Yeah.
And we came in and we're just like, man, like that was so stupid. Like a logger, like he's this brilliant person, and he chooses to become like, he would be way too bored with a psychopath brain. He would sit there and not being able to keep his brain active like that. He would go crazy. They should have made him like, something like really like intricate, like like I don't know, some scientist or something or something like that. Like, but like he's just like supposed to be some dumb logger who like wears some vest around and like something he's not at all. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard a lot of complaints of how it ended. I mean,
yeah,
and especially like that lead up to the final season, I heard was like brilliant. I'm not, I haven't been a frequent watcher.
Yeah, no, it was very. I thought it was amazing, honestly. The whole.
Do you think it went too long? Do you think that?
No, dude. That's the thing. I didn't like. Once you get hooked on a show, you're hooked on it.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, Simpsons is the roundest longest show. Ask a Simpsons fan, did it run too long? No. As someone who likes the movie Wolf of Wall Street, was it too long? No.
Yeah.
Like when I watched it, I loved it. Whenever it ended, I was like, oh man, like that was a really good movie, and it was really long, but like I could have appreciated 20 more minutes of Leo's acting. You know. Leo.
He is such a character. Like,
really
looking at his broad spectrum of everything he's played. Like,
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? You seen that one?
Yeah, we had to watch it in high school.
I didn't.
Oh.
My mom showed me that one.
Well, we watched it.
Yeah, your school's a lot better than mine. Sorry, West Washington people. Our school sucked big time. That's one thing. When I came to college, holy nikes, man. I'm telling you, like I was like, wow, my school taught me nothing. Like
really
nothing. West Washington, like I knew all you say like all the Salem people, obviously, and like it was just at the time like. I obviously was in high school and I was like, well, screw Salem, screw this, all that. And I was like, oh, it's so big. There's all this cliques and all that stuff. And I was just like, you all just were better prepared, you know? Now I'm here and it sucks. Like,
do you think it was just like, not to prod into it a little? Well, I am going to prod into it. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, that's a total lie. I'm not going to do that on air.
I don't mean to prod, but like.
do you think that it was just a case of small town, a super small school, not having, you know,
funds and stuff like that,
the resources, or knowing how to prepare them?
No, I think it was just ran really terribly.
Oh,
and not to like just like skim over that, but like no, I think that everyone that was hired on, and sadly one of the best people that came on was Miss York, and a lot of people hated her about the same time, and people were like, you know, so and so's going to get fired, so and so's going to get that, and it's like. I think you should have a little bit of job insecurity. I mean, like, you know, like as a teacher, like my mom's a teacher, an English teacher in Louisville, and she's like, you know, she's fantastic. Like she's an awesome teacher. I've seen, like, you know, I help her even sometimes with some of the stuff that she has, like her PowerPoint. She'll have questions on it, and she'll send me them, and I can tell her how to edit the audio and stuff like that. Just simple things that makes, you know, me seem like a genius to her. And
I love that.
They're really good.
Speaking of that, I love when you can do that for your family. You're like, man, what's the internet password? And you're like, I got this.
If you memorize like the password to your Wi-Fi, people are like, oh, you're like 48629 uneven onion, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, what? You are what remembers their Wi-Fi?
Is your son in middle school? Are you kidding me?
Get a load of this guy, Albert Einstein, over here.
Someone make him mayor. My gosh. Hey, this is what this town needs is right here. They're still typing in the password. Can you tell me again?
This is what this town needs right here. No, this is a Miss York for our town. No, but I feel like everyone was really like scared about like losing their job, and it was good. And then she left, and then out of nowhere, everyone was like, oh, okay. We have our jobs. We know everyone. We have the last name, you know, something. I'm not going to say last name, but, you know, I have a last name.
You have that last name, like, and that keeps you secure, keeps you, like, and that's the small town thing.
I mean, some people love it. It's like, dude, but, like, that's awesome. It's just, I wasn't, you know, if my parents had came from there, I might have appreciated it more. Like, truly, though, like, they didn't have any, like, you know, my dad's business was in Louisville. My mom was taught in Louisville. There was nothing connected. I didn't have a farm. I didn't have, like, we have a house there, and that's the only thing that makes me love Washington County still to this day is that we have a house that my dad left and everything for all of us to meet up at and stuff and hang out. And it's just, like, what I know is, like, the get-together, like, spot. Mm-hmm. So it's cool in that aspect, but, like, yeah, like, I just didn't have a lot of connection to it and everything, and, there was one of them gnats.
The darn gnats are flying around. But yeah, I totally get it because like my last name wasn't like
even though it was Baller.
Yeah, I still
the best name ever.
The best thing, you know, that I'll ever give my wife is a good last name. Yeah. Best thing.
You're like, I can't promise you much, but she will have a really cool last name for the rest of her life. Miss St. Clair, like that. That's a beauty pageant like name, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't. That is the highest grade steak that you can buy. But in last name,
okay, Trump.
hey, don't you dare! Let's not put me in that.
Yeah, but I was about to say behind the scenes, like Dylan's just a huge Trump supporter. He actually donated $69 to Trump's.
More false info. Have to discredit that.
Precursor. I'm going to lie a lot about what Dill does, just to try to manipulate his audience into thinking he's some corrupt person, just to make me feel better. Just self-confidence thing.
We've already admitted that I'm a sellout.
You are a cheap little sellout. Look at you advertising the beer. He totally got paid by them, by the way. I think he faces that way on accident. The lid is right here. Yeah.
We went to the liquor store and bought it. I still have the bag.
No. I know. Yeah, but I asked you to recommend a beer, and that's what you chose.
Last name, you know, I didn't have the last name privilege either, and sometimes you can just like fall into that where you forget the last name privilege. And I thought I dealt with it in sports where like the last name got people like better. Positions better.
I think as a younger kid, I think it does. I truly do, because they don't know you yet. You haven't built a reputation. Like when I was younger, they were just like Brackney, and they're like, don't your brothers, like, don't they drink, and don't they like have the parties, and don't you all fight, and don't you all, like all that stuff. And it's just like, I'm the same as them in a lot of ways, but like I'm completely different. I mean, you hang around Joe's loves to argue, debate, all that. You hang around Luke's to himself and quiet, and talk to Johnny's the jokester, really condescending and all that. It's just like we're not the same.
You all have your different personalities.
Yeah, not at all.
You can't just put each of you, because of your last name, you are this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a stereotype.
That's what drives me nuts. It's like, man, I know some people and I hate their brothers, and I love them, and it's like I feel like that's what's hard for people to. And it's hard. It's just like anything. It's just like almost with race. It's the same thing. It's just like you know something, you see it. It's there to you, and you can't help for it to make a difference.
It's self-conscious.
Yeah,
it's like it just becomes, because you say you dislike this person, because you dislike that person, you automatically dislike their circle.
Yeah.
Whether that be their relatives, whether that be their friends.
Yeah.
Especially with friends, sometimes whenever you dislike a person, you automatically especially at high school age.
Yeah.
You think about like certain instances where you're like, oh, I don't like that person, so I automatically hate their best friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I don't like their best friend, I don't like their friend.
Yeah.
And their dad runs his store. I'll never go there again.
I didn't like a lot of people from Salem, like growing up, just because as simple as you just said, like I was like, I know my brother doesn't like his brother, or like, you know what I mean? Like even people that
it wasn't even like, people that you knew. It was my brother doesn't like that person. I'm not gonna like that.
It was like simple stuff like that, and it was like, and even for dumb things, it was like he liked like a photo or something, or he like commented on that. It was like, you better not, boy.
How did that work? You didn't get Facebook until 3 months ago.
No, I've had Facebook since.
I'm giving you a hard time because we were saying you were behind on Facebook. Remember?
Yeah. I just got a phone. Woo. Check it out.
Talk about sellout, advertising the iPhone.
I'm not going to say which brand or what type of iPhone it is. It's Sprint, and it's an iPhone 5S.
You just said you weren't going to say it. Sellout.
Just hashtag sellout. No, it's dead. I don't even have a phone. I don't have a phone, technically.
It's like we're 10 years ago. Our phones just like, remember the Razor?
Yeah, God. The Juke?
Was that the one that like flipped like that?
Yeah, it broke, and people were sitting and their phones would go.
You're like a
like parents loved it. Like, I'll call your mom, and they whipped it out, and you're like, okay, I'll stay. Like, that's how all my parents, like, or all my friends' parents got me to be.
Whoa!
Like, call your mom, and you're like, oh shit.
Whoa! And it had that, like, I remember seeing one. It had like that green, like, casing around the top, and the screen was only like that big.
Yeah, it was a slither, man. It was a slice. It was the size of a cheese stick.
It's a great comparison. It was the size of a cheese stick.
Like a mediocre, an average, consistent size carrot. If it didn't shrink.
Yeah, or it didn't wilt or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a garbage phone. Why did we think those were cool?
And Joe, as much as I hate Joe, I just hate him. My brother, for those who don't know, I don't hate him. But
but you do.
Yeah, my parents were offering me my first phone, and we shared a prepaid phone. My parents are really serious about like not letting us have a phone until you were 16, and they ended up being like giving in to us, and they were like, you and Joe can both have a phone prepaid, barely any minutes, enough to like. I mean, we could send texts, but it was like, like, hey, what's going on? Like, you do anything this weekend? Like, stuff like that. It was never, like, just careless texting.
It was almost like a beeper, because you'd like, hey, what are you doing? And then you call on the landline.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I would call on the landline all the time to save minutes, and I'd tell Joe that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, dude, I still, the landline number, like, I'd have to give my friends out, like, call me on this number, and it was 472-3882. And that was, like, when I was, so young we had that. We got rid of it probably.
It's just like having a beeper, because everyone would, like, message you on that, and then you pick up the cord.
Where's the nearest payphone around here? No one has house lines anymore. Yeah.
No one.
So does this run to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I get closer, it gets louder.
Yes, it does. That's how microphones work.
Never thought about the dynamics of this.
You guys are being quite amused. We've yet to actually hit a topic.
We're topicless, technically. I wonder. I truly like. I watch all your videos.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like every now and then, if there's like a conversation, like probably Avery's vaping. I probably the reason why I didn't know it was a 20-minute rant is probably I probably heard him talk about vape and then like clicked like 5 minutes ahead, and then it was like, yeah, vaping is still was like 5 more minutes, and it was like. Yeah, and by the also people hate people who vape, and I was like 5 more minutes, and then I was like, Jesus, five.
Where is this
like, anyways, like I like to vape, and then I was like, okay, and then I started watching the video again. Yeah, but like I think it's interesting. Even people like I didn't know I know of him, but I didn't know him. But he has the coolest name, which me and Joe both decided on. Bravo.
Caesar. Yeah.
He made his name. What's his? It's his middle name, which is
Marciano.
Marciano. Dude, DJ Caesar or DJ Bravo. DJ Bravo. That is like Bravo, you know? Like, dude, like that is like no offense, like it's a cool like oh your whole fucking name's cool. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I told you, be yourself.
Yeah, I'm being myself. I apologize when I curse on when I'm not supposed to, but when I'm being myself. Yeah, I apologize to my preacher all the time.
The appropriate person to be apologizing to.
It's not a confession either. It's just verb. Like
you don't ever get in the booth. Yeah. Sir, what was your last confession?
I'm not a year ago.
I'm not Catholic. Suit yourself.
Will they still do it if you're not Catholic?
I actually don't know. I've never done a confessional.
Are you Catholic? Okay, I didn't think so.
Yeah. No.
There's funny stories about that. Never mind. It's different.
So anyway, Caesar. Yeah, Caesar has a great last name, or a great full name.
Name in general. I mean, like, no offense, you got the last name, but Caesar, you take the cheese.
There's a reason I only call him by his full name anytime I first address him.
Caesar
Marciano.
I would think, just if someone like said that, probably right out back Marciano.
Yeah, he's great guy.
No matter what, it's a great name, and I listened to some of the stuff and everything. I think I think that's really cool that he's doing that. I just appreciate the fact that you get all these eccentric people on here, and they're people that some I do know, and I like to know what they're up to. Like Anthony, like it was great seeing like you know what, like how he's. You know,
and Anthony's episode was so
he's
cool.
calmed down a lot.
He really has.
I talked to Anthony, he's chugging Mad Dogs, barefoot, running Hobbit foot around my yard, just barefooted, like jeans rolled up, Karl Marx just shining bright on his shin.
Everyone got a bright picture of Karl Marx the entire time.
He folded his legs just...
And you get that bright face right there.
It just shines right on it, like reflects. Like Karl Marx's forehead shines on Anthony's leg,
like the normal man's forehead, but it was because of it on his shin. It's like, man, Karl's gonna be showing real good. Let's shave that down. There goes the trash can. He shaves that. Just a tattoo.
He trims his hair.
He's like, yeah, I need Karl showing real good today.
He just shaves it up, man.
But yeah, it was great to be able to.
Does anyone call him Anthony anymore, or is it only Joseph?
I only call him Anthony.
Oh, really? Okay. I was about to say, I went and had a couple kids and thinks that we have to call him Joseph. Now, get real, Anthony.
You
stay.
Just because you settle down doesn't mean we don't. We remember.
Sorry, he's still Anthony to me. You know?
We remember the old days,
dude. Yeah, that's when I first became friends with y'all. Is because I came friends with Avery and all that, and then like I just met you, and I was just like I can't help but be friends with a really nice person who's really sociable and outgoing and open-minded. Open-minded is the biggest thing to me. Like, if you're open-minded, like, it doesn't matter if your opinion sucks. It doesn't matter if your argument sucks.
But if you're willing to listen.
If you're willing to listen and like talk, like talking is just the funnest thing in the world. Everyone knows me. Anyone who knows me, everyone knows me. Anyone who knows me, everyone who knows me knows that I love to talk and I like listening too. Though I appreciate it. Like, as long as you have something to say that's not just super biased and unhealthy.
And you're willing to listen to the other side, and like it doesn't matter what it's about. Like,
I love hearing other sides, man. Yeah,
yeah, that's the whole mind of like having different opinions, because like if you have a different opinion, of course there's going to be another side, and you can't just stand there and with like your feet like covered in concrete and you're on your side. You have to be willing to like listen and give a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. It sucks that some people can't do that though. It's just like they're too biased or
raised in a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
Where
some
like
people, they just regurgitate what they hear, and it's so saddening, honestly, that someone sits there and they don't challenge what they hear.
Or even what they read. A lot of it's on Facebook, and they just be like, man, I saw this on Facebook.
That meme was so accurate. That's a meme, by the way.
The meme.
I call them memes. I think it's really funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I had no idea I thought you were talking about an individual named Mimi, like someone's grandma. Man, my Mimi, she was out in public, and she looked like the dumbest hillbilly I ever seen in my life.
Tell my Mimi, take that tail off your head. No, but
the meme.
Yeah, my brother Johnny one day was saying something about a meme, and I was like, "Are you talking about the memes?" And like, we still to this day call it a meme. As
That's hilarious.
That's really funny.
But people like, I think sometimes people read on Facebook and they're like, study shows that eating a water bottle a day, that'll make your teeth regrow if you pull them out. And you're like, what? You saw one thing on Facebook and it said a study shows, and you automatically think it's fact. Come on, what are you doing?
Oh man,
I can distinguish that plastic will not grow my teeth back.
You'd be surprised what it could do for you, Dill.
Man, I might just have to grind that down and put it in my salads. That'd be a great topper.
I have a really healthy friend who's like super in shape. His name's Zach Wolf. And he's one of my friends up in Indy that I met at college, and he's really in shape. And I made a joke one day, and he was just sitting in his car, and he pulled up, and he always carries around like a little tub of vegetables, like cauliflower, like carrots, broccoli, all that stuff. Other vegetables that I don't know. I ran out of lists. Those are the only vegetables I know.
Is beer a vegetable? Close enough. He rolls up with beer. Here's a party.
No, and he's eating them, and I like carrots only. Is like one of the only vegetables I really care to just eat without like ranch or without some sort of like it's sauteed or something. And I was like, oh, can I have a carrot? And he goes, and he like was like, yeah, I'm like, gave me a carrot. And I was like, it's for my abs, like joking around. And obviously I'm out of shape. And he thought it was the funniest thing, and still to this day, like I'm like, oh man, like if he's carrying his little box, I'm like, mind if I have a carrot? And he's like, for the abs? I'm like, yep, for the abs. Like toss it to me, and I'm just like, I don't know why I'm not ripped yet, man. Like
one carrot's gonna rip you.
Yeah, I thought so. Thought that's all I did. Do you want to hit one of these topics?
Heck, I've had a blast.
Maybe I feel like people are gonna be like, man, screw this. Like they're just having like a conversation.
That's all that. Like that's what the show is.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I like it.
Like there's times when you can even notice. We'll get into
hit that one. Now?
We are not hitting that one. We almost hit that one at the beginning. That was enough.
If you all could figure out, I mean, I wish they could just somehow, like, if it was a game to guess what they were.
Yeah, I thought you put it on the mic for them to like get it closer to them. I was like, "What are you doing? That's not how microphones."
Can you hear this?
Can you see it? Can you see it down there? Yeah, that's what it is.
If anyone wants to take the time and like screenshot and zoom in, they can technically do that, right?
They could just then, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me that.
I'm cutting that part out. No, but
you were one thing I did want to touch on. You were talking about, you moved up here to Indy from the small town. How, and you being open-minded, how do you think the big city compared to the small town has changed your open-mindedness?
Oh, 100%. I was super, and like, I've talked about this to other people from the town, and like people that like, I talked to after graduation. I wasn't ever even friends with them in high school, and but like, yeah, I was super cocky, super full of myself, super arrogant. I still had like good morals deep down, like I would hold the door open, yes ma'am, all that stuff, like stuff my parents taught me, but at the same time it just was like genuine courtesy and all that stuff. Like I just didn't have it, and
until you got to college.
Yeah, and then I realized like I'm not this is also sounding cocky, but I was a good football player and everything, and I was a decent, attractive kid who had a house that people could party at, and obviously if you have a house that people can party at, they're gonna like you. If you're not good at sports or decent,
who cares what he looks like? He's got a house.
He's got a house and he can party in it.
Heck yeah.
Which it was a barn. Let's not get full.
I mean, the basement of it was just like where your dad kept the cars. cars.
And like appliances and like if someone went out upstairs, we could just come down and fix it with all the electrical supplies I need.
Hold on, guys. I'll go downstairs, flip the breakers. We're good.
And at the time, we had that Barracuda, so we had the most expensive thing that was at my house, like other than the house itself, in the garage at the bottom where every drunk person passed by it. It just this. Oh man, we were so stupid.
The last time I was actually in that house was, I can't remember who all was there, but we were riding one of your motorcycles around.
One of the mini ones?
One of the mini ones,
mini
yeah.
bikes, yeah. Yeah, dude. I tried to teach one of my roommates from college or whatever how to drive it. He just wound it up. He could never get the clutch thing down, and I just eventually was like, hey man, I'm going to have to catch up with that thing. That thing's like a pretty expensive bike. You can't blow the transmission up without clutching
we
it.
can't afford to have you just blowing stuff up. Like
he was ripping gears without pulling in the clutch and stuff, and I was like, does that not sound a little funky to you?
Hey, can you not tell the difference?
I'm going to move on.
To Beer Brewery, South Broad Ripple Brewing Company, Wiesengut.
Wiesengut.
Here, let me get you another glass.
Yeah, please, actually.
That way you're not beers.
See, dude, that's why I love Dill. I mean, like, I'm sitting at his place, dirtying up his dishes, and he has he acknowledges the fact that I'm changing beers. That, first off, it's not even the same glass, even though it doesn't matter, it doesn't correlate, any means. It's the fact that he went out of his way to notice that I'm changing beers and that I appreciate the taste of beer and that he should get me a clean glass. And that is why I love Dill. And that is why I, made a ranting post about the fact that I wasn't, invited on the first season.
Yeah.
Still salty.
Hey, I did invite you, and we just never got back.
No, I was busy.
That worked out well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah,
filled up perfect.
Yeah. The head, you call that the head of the beer, and you try to get at least a quarter inch or half inch of a head. And an inch at the most for the people who like it, but I feel like that's with darker beers.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, every time I see you, or like people introduce me to people, and like, yeah, this is Dale, he's my best friend. And I'm like, I've known you for a year and a half, 2 years maybe.
Because truly, obviously I have a lot of friends. Some are best, and stuff, but at the same time, it's like a best friend to me is someone, which don't get me wrong, I have multiple, but it's just someone who you could rely on, trust, and who can, basically that's it. Rely on and trust. I think those are the two biggest things ever. And rely on for times you need help, and trust in times that you need something to talk about or anything like that. You don't have to.
I think another big friend quality is not being judgmental, because
we're polar opposites. I mean,
you and I are total.
I'm not
opposites.
crazy religious at all by any means, and you are not crazy religious. I didn't mean that. Anyway,
I understand.
Again, he's not going to take it personally. I can sit there and
I never take anything personally.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a guy that we went to Kilroy's with a couple times. Avery and I did. And he's like, "You're the religious guy." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "F your religion." I was like, "That's fine." Okay. I understand that you don't understand what I believe, but I'm not gonna for me to not stoop to his level, but to step down and be causing confrontation. Yeah. That would automatically want to hate people of my religion.
And first off, that's what baffles me about religious people sometimes is that sorry, Joe. But even Joe, who's he's super religious now and super into that and all that, but at the same time, he loves to argue and just have his voice, his opinion, and everything, and that's cool. He loves to argue and debate, and it's healthy. I think it really is. Mm-hmm. It helps people understand, see, the ultimate point in the both sides,
and it helps people challenge their own views. Because if you're arguing something, you gotta be able to back it up and have someone attacking you.
And if you don't have one, then you're sitting there thinking man, maybe they're right.
Maybe they're right.
Your thought.
Maybe I should look into what I'm debating.
Yep.
So it is healthy. I totally agree. But I get what you're saying. Sometimes an attacking mindset can hurt people away from wanting to get to the
point that they're at,
to the truth. Or that's what I believe is the truth.
I was about to say, because if I sat there and said fuck your religion, and again excuse the language, and you said, F you back and everything, I'll just sit there and be he's the same as me. We're no different. But if you sat there and you said, that's cool. You have that 100%. I hope you find just happiness in whatever you believe in. You know what I mean? Just say something like that, then I would walk away and I'm like, damn. I didn't get what I wanted from that.
He one-upped me.
Yeah, I was like, I feel really lame now.
Now I need to go to church and understand him.
No, I'm not saying that would cause him to do it, but like, I mean, that would get me to think and be like, wow, like he seemed really at peace. Like even when I was sitting there and telling him what he finds most sacred and valuable to him, which I think you do hold your religion as like the most sacred and valuable thing in you, right? Because it's just you're fully devoted to it. But like, I mean, for you to sit there, that's like walking up to someone who like, you know, sees like if you had a kid right now and you were fully devoted to it, and I walked up and was like, F your kid. Like it would be really hard for you to be like, yeah, like that's your opinion, you know what I mean, and stuff.
Yeah,
but like, for the fact that you can do that with a religion, like it has to make someone think like,
yeah,
possibly like, yeah, like maybe there is something about that's healthy that helps. Because like whenever my parents divorced, they raised me 100% religious, and then whenever they divorced, my dad was like, no, I'm not religious anymore. I don't care. I don't believe in like all that, and I am still torn between it. And I'm like, man, I was raised on something else, and now I'm something different. And actually, I think it was great for me. Not that it was for them, obviously, it split up and stuff. But like for me, it made me see like, okay, like religion is great, and I was fully religious, but I was also doing a bunch of things that were super sinful, and you know, I wasn't being religious.
Yeah.
Though I was at the time. Like,
to sum it up, you were not being religious because of the actions of what you were doing.
Yeah.
But you still felt like you still had religious like morals. Like you were talking about your morals.
Beliefs.
Your beliefs, yes.
Yeah. And sorry.
Don't have to apologize. It means you're just enjoying good beer.
Yeah.
That's the thank you to beer.
A little secret. I was going to hide it from y'all, but we waited till I was done with my first one to start filming, and that way it didn't look like I was pounding them too much faster.
Yeah. Hey,
But at least we have stuff that like you can see. I wish every talk show did this. You could see that they're actually drinking and what they're drinking, what it looks like. I don't want to see water in a coffee cup. I think you're faking it every time. If I see you drink water out of a dark water cup on an interview or a talk show, I think you're faking it automatically.
Yep.
Why would they not just have a water bottle, like something to see through? Just give me a clear glass. I just want to see it.
Or if you're drinking hard liquor, why don't you just pull out the shot glasses?
Yeah, dude, who cares?
Fallon's like, 2 more Fireball shots right now.
He has a personal bartender. Yeah, they're like, we're moving to like camera 2, and he's like rounded.
They go to the roots. The roots are talking. He's like, come on, where's the booze? He's like pouring them, and it's like all over his desk.
If you don't get the reference. Root, you know.
Yeah. Because it's a tree from a tree.
Yeah,
good one.
Thank you. I'm super punny.
You should have just called that a root beer. Straight up.
I thought I was the punster.
I just say the word.
Yeah, you're good, Dill. Then you feed off me, like I'm a giving tree. With full of setups. I call it tips. You know, like volleyball, like you tip someone or you set them.
The set, and then I'm in for the spike.
Hey, you think just with that stature you wouldn't be able to spike it down like you do, but
we played this school last week and they cried.
Really?
No.
I'm like, damn, Dylan, I knew you're a bully, but I knew you're a dick. Do you ever talk about your girlfriend on the show?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Marianne.
Hey, Marianne. I'm Matthew. Awkward, right?
Yeah, it was. I was like, where is this going?
She's sitting there thinking like, yeah, no wonder I haven't met this kid. He's gonna force his way onto the show.
Hey man, why can't I be on the show?
Yeah, I made a public post, like, we were talking earlier, and I was like, I don't talk about that because I don't like voicing my opinion over social media. And then I'm like,
you're both
I'm like, man, you don't get the call back from Buds of Plenty. Oh man,
you will meet her. We were all gonna meet on Boxmas.
I know, dude. I'm terrible with plans.
Yeah,
I'll tell her right now, Dill. I feel so bad. He's always the plan guy. He never falls through. Anytime I've invited you over to cook or something, that's how me and Dill hung out. It was cooking together. Yeah, I'd invite you over. You'd show me new ways to make potatoes.
The best thing, whenever I found out you and Jason were like, "We dealing tonight? We're dealing tonight," and you just make deep fried potatoes. It's so funny that's what that was called.
Yeah, we had no idea that you could do that. Like, you just came and did it all the time. I'm like, man, that's a really easy way to make potatoes. And we're like, I think
I got the gnat. Those gnats. rats are coming around again.
If people like, obviously they're not gonna be able to see it, but you're talking and you're like that, they're like, did Matt slip some like acid into his drink before he started doing the show? I'm still grabbing something.
I'm climbing a ladder, bud. There's a helicopter.
I gave Dylan an edible brownie before the show.
Man, that's a good brownie.
Oh man.
So anyway, what were we talking about? What did we just say? Before we were talking about me going like this.
Oh my gosh.
God, I'm gonna think I'm such a moron.
Yeah, I know. I always do that.
Dylan potatoes.
No, yeah, I was about to say you were cooking with us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's how we hung out. I feel like for a whole while.
Mm-hmm. It's just,
dude, no wonder you're like, you tell me like people like you're like, oh, we stayed off topic, and I was even thinking because I remember on one of your posts you talked about, or even with Avery or someone you said what you said told me, you were like, oh, with Avery I didn't have anything, and he went on a rant. I think it was with Caesar actually that you said that. And see, I do watch your stuff, and and I was like, how does he not get through that? How do you like talk about that? But I forget that you're interviewing friends and
we just reminisce.
Yeah, it's just we have past, current, and future. Like,
heck, the last time we were together was when I cooked those hamburgers.
And I picked you up above my head. You know, my neighbors still say, I'm like, I'm going to Dylan's or Dylan or something like that, and I'm like St. Clair, and they're like, oh, they don't remember the last name, the full last name, or anything like that. And they're like, is that the kid you like hugged goodbye and like picked up, and, like carried around? And I was like, yeah, that's Dylan.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess like they said like I picked you up, and I was like, you pushed me up, and then they said like I like
you put me over my shoulder, and I just like went limp.
They said you just like laughed and was like, they said it looked so normal, like it looked like you do that every time. I was like, no, I think that's the first time I've ever like put Dylan over my shoulders.
Back in high school, Avery and I used to do.
Dude, Avery's even bigger than me.
He's bigger than he would like. I would run at him, and then he'd lift me over his head and hold me.
Dirty Dancing?
Like Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, if you check my Instagram, I have a Dirty Dancing post with Joe in California, and it actually looks like a fake background 100%, but it's on top of a mountain, and I'm holding Joe in the background.
That's amazing.
It's really cool, but what they don't know is I dropped him. He jumped up, and I caught him, and then I was like, oh, and like he was so heavy that he fell, but we got the full extension where like he had jumped up and gravity was with me, and then out of nowhere I was like, I just like put back down.
You got there, and then like your arms just gave out.
In the picture, I look like still like comfortable, like I have glasses on, like I look, and then like, but like if you watch the video, he jumps up, and I'm like, oh, and drop him down on me. No, but Dirty Dancing, Avery used to pick you up.
There's actually a picture of us in a yearbook where he picked me up. He did it all the time, and my mom was always like, "Don't do that. You don't have insurance.
You fall on your head.
We're doomed. You'll never go through college."
How are we supposed to feed off you? You're bean, man. By the way, that is the funniest word, bean.
Bean? We actually
Avery's younger sisters use it a lot, and I appreciate it so much.
We actually have a friend. Oh, you know Daniel Wells.
Yeah, I know Daniel Wells.
Yeah, everyone.
No, I really do. I don't know of them. Again, it's like Caesar. It's just they were out of my range.
We call him Bean. He's named Bean in my phone.
My roommate, we called him Bean
because we used to call him Beanie Wells after the football player.
Yeah, the running back for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we called him Beanie Wells, and
I'm a sports fanatic.
You know some stuff.
I know some stuff about sports. I used to wing a pig skin around. No, but anyway.
But yeah, we called him Beanie or Bean.
Yeah, why for Beanie Wells though?
Because his last name is Wells. That was the only thing.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, I just asked the dumbest question ever asked on Buds and Lenny. We called him Beanie Wells. Why? Because his last name was Wells. And Bean is a fun word.
I can't wait to have him on the show. He's on in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Have fun. Dill's great. Will this be aired before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, well.
This will be on YouTube in a couple days.
He's quick.
I try. I try. Do we want to talk about anything on this thing, or are we just going to sit there and reminisce?
I
can make it the first show where we do nothing on there.
I can't. I think we should still talk about it.
We are. Can I see the pencil?
No, because I know what you're going to do. Give me a pen, and then I'll give you the pencil. I just wish they could know.
They're not going to know.
So if I said the word, you would bleep it probably. Can you bleep?
You
haven't perfected it yet?
I do. I can do it.
So you can bleep me if I say stuff right now.
I don't want to because I get to try it.
No, how about this? Hey, you, Buds of Plenty, you want to get real? And then you can bleep it and see if it works. try it. And those will sound like bleeps. Like, hey, you...
And if I can't do it, I'll just...
You want to bleep? Get real?
Well, what I do is probably, like, sometimes, you know how the bleeping is, they'll just, like, cut out the word?
Yeah.
Because what I do is just, like...
I was going to say, you can cut out the word, and then can't you just replace it with sound, or put a sound over top of it?
Yeah, if I could find the sound, that would be...
Well, do you have, like... Does it look like whenever you're making, like, a song on your, like, whenever...
Where it has the audio file?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could just stretch something over top of that, right? And then it would just put it out. And if as long as it was louder, then...
Yeah.
It would overpower it, right? I believe so.
Yeah.
That sounds like that's how they do it. Is they just put something
put
over
a sound
stretch,
over it,
and then put it down and stretch it. For how long?
You would either do it that way, or you would actually crop that out because you actually can't hear them talking either.
Yeah.
So you would crop that out probably and replace the beep for the audio
just in case they could overhear it or like cut. I actually, if you sat there and took a video, I feel like you could break it down and take that part out and tell if there's something underneath of it.
I bet you could.
Because I feel like FBI does that with stuff. Like they sit there and they're like, oh, like, or like if a video looks fake, they can sit there and tell if it's been played with and tampered with, and like stuff was cut out, if voices were underneath and stuff. It has to be.
It's your show. Other than that, that topic there, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wish I could say, man. I wish I knew you could bleep.
Yeah,
bleep, 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 bleep.
What I was gonna do, the funny thing I thought about it.
How do you do bathroom breaks? Do you get like assigned them, or do you have like a?
If you want to go, you can go now. Do you need to go?
I mean, if there's a break time, I'll just.
There's really no. You just get up and go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'll go.
Okay. Where's the bathroom?
Down the hall.
Sorry.
There's only one. All right, folks. You probably don't even realize it, but we just took an extended break.
Yeah, a very extended break.
Longest break I've ever taken in show history.
In show history?
In 7 weeks.
In 7 weeks? I've been putting this
7 weeks show history.
We got too personal. We had to cut the camera.
Had to cut the camera.
We don't want y'all knowing that stuff.
You don't need to know the
Start talking about favorite colors, real personal stuff.
Yeah, I got real sappy when we got the purple.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to bring it out of you. I was in there thinking like, man, he'll probably love purple.
I had to dab the...
Yeah, I was about to say, your shirt's wet over there.
Oh, gosh. That's
the waterworks.
It's actually the sweat.
Purple rain, man.
Prince. Sorry, Prince.
Sorry, Prince. No, yeah, I forget where we left off at.
Who cares?
Who does care?
Yeah, well, they probably will because it's been a long time for us, but it's been like 12 seconds for them.
Yeah. Not even a break. So we barely we did talk about local beer. You know what? I scratched that out. We ended up accidentally talking about it just because obviously you knew.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Dill knows best. That should be the name of the show, not Pleasant Plenty. Dill knows best. The View, Dill knows best. Washington County View.
Washington County View. Best. Shout outs to Brad.
Shout outs to Brad.
Let's bring up restaurants and.
Oh yeah.
You know the bar scene a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing.
I'm a bar rat.
You also text me like, Dill, I need a restaurant. Where do I go?
Yeah,
and I'm like, what are you in for? What's your budget?
Yeah.
How close do you want to go?
The price is the best thing that I've always liked. I remember, I'm not going to say who I was with, but I texted you one time. I was like, hey, I'm going someplace, just a quick restaurant idea, like, I'm just, as a friendly thing, we're going out or whatever, and we ended up, you gave me a restaurant, I can't remember it.
Was it Mug and Bun?
Yep, it was Mug and Bun.
And I took my family there a few weeks ago.
Man, like, it was so funny because I was expecting, like, an actual, like, restaurant stuff, and I dug exactly what was offered. You know, like, we sat in the truck or whatever and, like, listened to music and, like, ate and stuff, but it was like, we pulled in and I was like, where do you sit at? And like, they're like, pull up right here and park and you can order there. And I'm like, oh man, this is like a Sonic, but not like, it's like,
just like a
low grade Sonic.
Just like an old fashioned drive-in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I went there and that was really cool. I appreciate that one. And the price is modest, 100%. Like, I ended up spending less than $20 or something, $25.
Which is actually really nice in today's world. Like,
very nice for two people.
For two people and getting like local food that's, actually really good.
And I got the root beer and everything, and like got their nicest root beer.
The root beer is really nice. Check this out. I actually have the Mug and Bun.
Oh no! Oh look, he's such a sellout. I told you he's a sellout. Look at that. Representing Mug and Bun. What, they offer that for like VIP members only?
You just buy the biggest root beer they have,
and it just comes in compliments of the biggest root beer.
But yeah, the root beer's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome restaurant.
No, it was cool, and Dylan really is. I almost called you Brandon. Dylan is really good for the local restaurant scene. If y'all ever in Indy, but
I do want to talk. Hit me up with what bars are must see for the out of towners.
You want to hear my bar schedule?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. All right. So when I go out on Thursday nights, and that's college night in Indianapolis, and it means you bring your college night. First off, it's college night. All the college kids are out. And Howl at the Moon, which is a bar I worked at. I did the turtle races at.
The turtle races.
Which now that I think about it, the best experience I've had was the turtle races, and we can talk about those later if you want. But Howl at the Moon and stuff like that, like it's discounted. You bring your college ID and you get discounts and stuff. So Thursday night is the night to go out in Indianapolis, and it is the night I go out. It's the night I choose to go out. So this is just a typical during the college semester bar night, and this is I go out on Thursdays and I go to Howl at the Moon because I used to work there and because they have dollar beers. And so I know everyone. I walk in, that's how I start my night, and that's where everyone goes. It's a dual and piano bar. You know, they're playing popular music, but they're, modernizing it on like keyboards and stuff, and it's just really cool. It's live music and everything, and dollar beers and domestic beers.
You gotta reiterate the dollar beers.
I have to just press that on you. It's like dollar beers, guys.
And they have them in like the cooler right when you walk in. Yeah, right when
you walk in, they just tempt you with them, and you're like, of course. And then I always end up doing where I buy shots, and they're $4 a shot. So buy 12 of those and you're just screwed. But the dollar beers, I start with Howl at the Moon. I get my dollar beers in and get my buzz going. I normally try to pregame some so I don't spend more money out. And then I get my dollar beers in, dance to the Dylan piano bars, and then I go to Taps and Dolls, which is a 4-story bar who has 3 different levels. They have the trap music on one floor. They have like their different type of EDM music, and then they have like their typical like type of music or whatever, and it's like all spaced out different bars. If one's too crowded, go upstairs. Has different floors. On the very basement they have an arcade, grown-up arcade that you can play up, and it's kind of trashy down there. It's really low lighting, so people go down there to it's kind of weird. They go down there.
The strange crowd.
The strange crowd. But I mean, if you are just not trying to pay attention to people watch, then you go down there and play your own games. It's really cool. And they have pool tables and stuff like that. And that's where I play pool if I'm going to do it. And then I go to Blue or Tiki Bob's. And I only go to one of either. And it's because it's a little bit ghetto, but you get the right scene, which is the bar scene. You're dancing, you're jumping up and down. It's crowded.
I've only been to Tiki Bob's once.
Yeah, and it's Tiki Bob's. It's like a tiki bar type thing. It's really cool, and it's just a party atmosphere, and that's where I go whenever I'm dying down. I'm at my drunkest stage, and I'm partying, trying to get that last bit of energy, and then I kill out at Kilroy's, which is right across the street from Howl at the Moon.
Which is so funny because that's your last stop. That's my first and only stop.
His first and only stop. They have great food.
Used to go there, hang out with Lobster Man.
Who's Lobster Man?
Lobster Man was the pale guy that Avery and I would sit in the very back and hang out with on the back.
I'm clueless to this.
Lobster Man was the greatest man ever.
I'm baffled that I haven't heard this.
Well, about time I get to tell about Lobster Man on air.
You're welcome. I brought it up.
Lobster Man we met, Avery and Nick met him. They got super trashed and went to Kilroy's, and they were drinking whiskey and Coke doubles, and they would do like 4 of those and then go home.
Yeah.
And they met Lobster Man on the back porch, and Lobster Man was...
Why was he named Lobster Man?
He worked at Red Lobster.
Why not Lobster Man? Yeah.
He went by Lobster Man or Blonde John the Baker because he baked the biscuit.
Those delicious biscuits
from Red Lobster. Yeah, he would do that, and he would also he was a prep cook for the lobsters and stuff. He talked about how he'd cut the lobsters and stuff. Realest man I've ever met in my life. He was so honest with everything he said. He told me some of the craziest stories I've ever heard. But then we'd even talk religion, and Avery's not a big religion guy. Whenever he talked, but the way Lobster Man presented it, and the way he was he even spoke the scriptures, and it's just holy crap! I never expected this out of a guy. He was always at the bars. Always he experimented with drugs a little bit. Would always take a break.
That's the good ones do. No, I'm just kidding.
He would always take a break on his bike and then go smoke and then come back and be blazed and then talk. So he would always do that, and then I think I would go to Kilroy's every week, and whether I was drinking or not, it didn't matter.
What day did you go?
We went on
Wednesdays, half price.
We went on Wednesdays for the longest time. Then
it's funny you said longest. That's half price Long Island's on Wednesday at Kilroy's.
Their Long Islands are
and they're in the pitchers too.
They're in the pitchers, so you actually get a solid.
And it's $4 Long Islands or something. Yeah,
which is they have a ton of flavors. They have that big chalkboard where you can choose your
blue, purple, and obviously the colors.
They have the root beer. They have the Coke ones.
Yeah.
So we used to go on Wednesdays, and then we switched to Thursdays because I found out Lobster Man's schedule switched to Thursday.
So
we switched to hang out with Lobster Man. Avery and I stopped going because we worked at the same place. We worked at Sub-Zero, and we worked nights, or we worked second shift, so we couldn't make it to Kilgore.
What's second shift at Sub-Zero?
It was 4 to almost 1.
That's not too bad.
It's not horrible, but it was still pretty excruciating.
My shifts are normally from 3 to like anywhere from 12:30, and it varies in how much it is. But at the earliest 12:30, and at the latest sometimes I'll get off at like 3.
Good Lord.
Just loading trucks up just after an event, like it sucks so bad, man. Just Thomas Catering, worst place ever. Worst place ever.
So we stopped going, and I was walking to work one day. I parked and I was walking, and I saw a blonde pale man riding his bike, and I go, John. He's looking around, and I go, John, and it was Lobster Man. And we start talking. He's like, hey man, I swapped jobs. He was working at Chili Water Brewery over on Virginia, so in Fountain Square. And so he started working there. He was a prep cook there, and I was like, man, I'll come in and see you sometime. When sometimes we get busy, and it still bothers me because it was January of this year, and I was like, man, I haven't seen Lobster Man in a while. Maybe they have some pictures on the Chili Water site on the Facebook page of Lobster Man.
Yeah.
And they had a picture of him, and it said that John Elkhart that was his last name, had passed away unexpectedly. And
Wow.
yeah,
From?
so they didn't say. So that can.
Man, that would have been cool if you could have figured out like the funeral or like viewings or something. And
It was like 2 or 3 months after the fact.
wow,
So
really?
yeah,
That's
so
terrible.
it was hard.
Maybe we should look and like contacting one of like the family members and be like, just let y'all know.
He was from Colorado.
Really?
So, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't look into that. You don't think?
I probably could, but he didn't have Facebook. He didn't have
anything.
He didn't have anything.
That's a good thing about Facebook, though, I must admit.
Yeah, I didn't even have his phone number because we always knew where to meet him.
Oh yeah, man, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, that is, man. I feel bad. Sorry to hear that.
I know, knowing what I believe, I know where he's at, knowing what he's talked about, knowing what he believed. You know.
That makes you feel better.
Yeah, it definitely does. I know that his eternity is
promised.
It's promised, yes.
Yeah.
So,
more restaurants and bars.
I do want to bring up. So you have your Thursday schedule.
Yeah.
What's ones that aren't in your Thursday schedule that you definitely want to recommend?
I'm glad you asked, Bill. I'm glad you asked.
Let's get off the gossip.
So now that school's out, right? And I'm just in a regular schedule, my summer schedule, working and all that stuff, just typical workday weeks. Which is sad because school, I don't mess around a whole lot. Don't go out during the week. I do, but obviously everyone knows me. I still mess around, but not as much.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable amount, and keep it for the weekends. And which I don't take. I actually don't take classes on Friday. You never to this day, never done it, never will, just because of Thursday night.
Thursday night gets you.
Swear, and I know it. I know I couldn't avoid it, so I don't take classes on Friday. And if I ever do, which I haven't. If I do, it will be late.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, no, but
right about the time I'm waking up.
Now, when we get on that? But Mondays, Bourbon Street, and it's right down the road from me, right on the outskirts of downtown. Bourbon Street, right? Mm-hmm. I go there on Mondays, and that's because that's dollar beers. It's on Monday. And it's very there's a lot of it's very what do you call that? Diverse in the atmosphere. And it's like, for instance, last night I went and I hung out with an Oriental group. They were from, I met them pretty late in the night. So that gives you a hint of why I'm struggling to remember it. But I forget where they were from. Somewhere, at Middle East somewhere. But like I don't know where it was from. Or no, maybe it wasn't Middle East. Where were they from?
Besides the point, what was it like hanging out with them?
It sucks because I'm so big on like having to remember what I do, so I don't do this. But all right, I'll skip it just for the sake of the show. They were awesome, and like they were playing flip cup in the middle of this bar. They had a table set up, and they were playing flip cup, and it's really late, and it's cool. So like they were like being all right with it, and they invited us to play. And I mean, I was with my 2 neighbors, and we had a blast. I mean, we hung out, we played flip cup, and all these people ended up leaving the bar and going back to their place, their apartment, hanging out on the parking garage that's connected to it, and like brought a table up there, and we all sat around, played cards, and like, they're really unique and open minded, and like, well gathered. They all knew what they wanted. They all knew exactly like what they thought. Like we had the same talks me and you have, religion. Like I always find it really unique. I have a bunch of foreign friends, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Turkey, all that stuff. Indianapolis is great for the diverse culture, and I think so anyway. Which every school could be, who knows? But I feel like the city just kind of opens it up more.
Agree.
And appreciate it. And that they were just really nice, and the last time I went there, I met a couple people from Saudi Arabia, and I was like, well, I have some Saudi Arabian friends. Like they're really cool. They're like some of my best friends, my longest friends since I've been in college. Honestly, some of them really are, and like I met them. Like other people, it's just like it's a really diverse bar. There's not it's not crazy collegey. It's not chugging and stuff like I said. We were playing flip cup. That's at the end of the night, and it was just the group got drunk, and it was just something funny to do. But like it's just chill. Everyone's sitting down, has really good food before it starts serving, or it stops serving at 11. And so in the bar closes at 3. So like you can get in and get a meal before you start drinking too heavily. So it's nice. And then Tuesdays, the Stack Pickle, which is right down the road from my college. They do karaoke tonight. It's going on right now. I'm sure I have some drunk friends singing
Journey.
Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Yeah, like we talked about just like 20 minutes ago in Showtime.
Yeah, during Showtime. Yeah. But
and I used to go every week.
I was about to say that Avery, everyone, don't let it fool you. I mean, Darren Gudick. I mean, all these people are gonna know these names. I mean, the Gudicks went, the Brackneys went, Thompson, Avery Thompson. Everyone from our hometown. Everyone went to IPI. The Tori Packwood. I don't know if she's watching
that punk St. Clair kid.
That punk St. Clair kid. The really modest, nice, polite Matt kid, or Brackney kid.
Yeah, definitely him.
Yeah, but the really corrupt, bad St. Clair kid always went.
Asshole. That's it. That's him. Hey, plumb terrible.
Is that your first cuss word on the show?
Ever? No.
Ever?
No.
Man, that sucks.
Anyway, you got like the people down the hall from me, like David Miller. You had
all of them.
Zach and Pat and all them.
Yeah, everyone hit that, and like I mean, even like I don't know if you remember Maggie Sanders, Reverend she'd even come up, and she moved up to Indy, and even she would come up and visit, and just kind of like. It's just that cool. That was a really cool bar. It's lost the touch, I don't know everyone as much as well. I'm older. I'm a senior now, so I don't know all the college kids as much and stuff. And
the old man.
Yeah, the old man of the Stack Pickle. Now I'm creeping in the corners.
What's that guy? What's the guy with the gray hair
Has
doing?
he been coming here for like 35 years?
How's he drinking whiskey straight? It's half price beers.
How's he drinking old bourbon or old fashioned? Which, by the way,
did he bring that himself? That looks like it's well aged.
He's letting it breathe over there. No, but I had an
you roll in your own like keg. Yeah. Like, man, he really brought the party.
Don't like lifting it.
You're like trying to put it up on it.
By the way, all these places I'm saying, if you care about your drinks, do not go. I had an old fashioned made, which I don't know if you all know what old fashioned is, but it's a particular drink, and it's for people I feel like who appreciate their brandier whiskey, and they didn't do it justice, and they ruined my drink. Bourbon Street did the Monday night $1 beers and stuff, the Oriental or like the really diverse place. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't have. They're not. None of these places are good at actually making drinks. So when I move on past all this stuff, which I've hit all the bars on my Monday nights, my Tuesday nights, my Thursday nights, and then Broad Ripple, Downtown Brothers, Land Shark, or what's that place called? I forget.
Land Shark is and Land Brothers, Land Shark,
all that stuff. That's cool. But for actual drinks and food, this place called Iozo's, which they even have a VIP membership card too.
The VIP member.
If I have it. Oh, yep, right here. Yep, VIP member at Iozo's. And it's just this Italian wine place mainly, and they serve really good food, and I just joined their VIP, and I go and get, on Wednesdays it's half price wine, so I'll get $4 glasses of wine, and then on Thursdays it's like half off bottles, stuff like that. I get really good deals, and I just started getting into wine, And now I've fallen in love with the place, and I go in every month, the first Thursday of every month, it's free wine tasting. So I go and I try all their new wines that they got in, all the different wines. They always like any type of new ones, they show it off. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool for that, and that's a really nice place. And the $30 to join the VIP, and then you get all these. Every time you go in, you get like a little snack, like it's like whatever their hors d'oeuvre was for that day. And sometimes it's like a mussel, like a clam mussel or something, which I love. And they cook it. They're amazing. The foods, their drinks, and even if you don't order their wine, which is what it's like, what's up there.
Yeah.
If you don't order that, then they'll still make your drinks really well. The bartenders are well trained. They're professionals, and that's about the only place I go that's expensive. Which obviously I signed the VIP thing, so I get the discounts. But I was going for at least a month or two where I wasn't paying the discounts and just paying $8 to $12 a glass of wine, paying $50 for bottles of wine, like stuff like before I got the discounts, and like that was the nicest place I've been to, and that's the only place I can vouch for that is
quality.
Exactly.
An interesting thing, you've mentioned so many different types of alcohols, and knowing my viewership, I know that some people probably don't even drink or have the ability to acquire a taste.
Yeah, absolutely, for a certain thing.
So, for those people who don't have any type of Mojito is a good start.
Oh my God, you won't if you just like a fresh drink. Get a mojito. It's a fresh mint leaf, some clove soda, sugar. It has the sugar in it and everything. And then you put your rum in there, and it has rum. And the rum is, I think, it's easy to mask. It's easy to hide. And it's easy for people who don't like liquor to just barely taste any of it. That, okay, I can taste the alcohol, but I just know it's there. I don't really taste it. And people, and I think rum's a good one that people don't want to taste. They only use it for mixer. Really, I don't know a lot of people who sit there and say, I'd love to chill on a cold glass of rum.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't hear a 40-year-old guy be like, man, I got tired after work, so I poured me a half cup of rum, and you're like, no,
nice, you pour whiskey or you have a big beer,
or even some of the more sophisticated things like brandy, brandy on the rocks.
I hate, I don't like brandy. I think it's too sweet, bitter, and all that stuff, and it just doesn't taste good. But mojitos are really good. It's just crushed mint leaf, so it has a really minty taste, which I don't want y'all to mistake that with a spearmint taste, like any food that's minty. It's not like that by any means. You know what I mean? Like, it's a mint leaf. It's a fresh leaf that is off a mint tree. So I mean, it's crushed up. It just has a really fresh taste to it, and it's mixed within water. And it's only I think you do 4 or 5 leaves, or not even that, 3 leaves or something. So it's not big, but it's just enough to give it that flavor. And it's just a really earthy, nice, fresh taste because you taste the mint in there, and it's really organic tasting and stuff. And it's really, and if it's not made too sugary, the right amount of alcohol, you can obviously tell them to make it stronger or weak. But yeah, and the best place to get it is Pensacola, Florida, and it's at a restaurant called Hemingway's.
Okay.
And they have fish taco on Tuesdays. It is fish tacos. They're 50-cent fish tacos, and then the mojitos are never discounted. But you go and get your 50-cent tacos, and then you get your mojitos at Hemingway's on Tuesday in Pensacola, Florida. Which, speaking of, that's where I'm supposed to be going in 8 days.
8 days.
I probably won't go.
Probably won't
business,
go.
Yeah.
Got the work schedule.
Yeah, the work schedule on. Yeah. So, but that's definitely a good drink to start with. Rum is just a good drink because you can mix it. It depends on if you like your mixers. And then beer, just try your lagers, your IPAs, your different type of beers. Actually read on them, find out. The best way to find out if you like alcohol is actually look into it.
Yeah.
Look at it. Do you like bitterness? Do you like hops? Do you find out what hops are? First off, if I say hops, some people are well,
And some people, not just some people, but to know if you like something, you have to try it. You can't just say, you can't have an opinion on something and say
oh, that's bitter. No, I don't like that.
Oh, I don't like it because of what it is or where.
I think the biggest fear, dark beer. People are don't like dark beer, and it's do you truly not like dark beer? Or do you not like the ideal?
Or have you ever even had one?
Yeah. Or a good one, if anything.
Yeah. You had a Guinness and thought that describes all dark beers.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Just like we said, one moment doesn't define them, and one person doesn't define a family. You know what I mean? One moment doesn't define a person, one person doesn't define a family. It's just one beer doesn't define a whole class or a genre.
Yeah, exactly.
Just one song doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, even to a probably the biggest degree is like one mistake doesn't define a person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad.
Except for you, whenever you sold out, I just knew you were a douche.
You knew I was a terrible person.
Knew I didn't want to ever be friends with Dill again. I found this show so hard just because we don't hang out so much that I want to spend all this time talking about stuff that, because you're one of my favorite people to talk to, and that's why I think I always say my best friend is because I find myself talking to you about stuff that, like, the religious stuff, and I said I'm not the biggest part on that and everything, like, stuff like that, where, I mean, you bring it out of me, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool, like.
Yeah. It's nice when it's natural because you don't want a forced relationship. That's a horrible relationship because then it's just based on, having, I don't even know how to describe it, having it be forced.
Yeah.
And it's not enjoyable at that point. So it's nice for me to know that our relationship is like natural.
Yeah, exactly. And like what I like also is like we have trouble, first off, I have trouble setting dates, making times, coming up with things. Sometimes things come up and I'm just like, oh, and I forget about stuff. Like today I was helping Joe and almost got caught up and being like, yeah, I'll stay here and, drink with you and I won't drive. And I end up having like one drink at the pool and then remembering like, oh wait, I gotta leave. I can't, do that. And I'm planning on
pause.
I was like, I plan on drinking a couple beers at Dylan's. I can't drive there tipsy and then drive home even more tipsy.
Yeah, we are not promoting drinking and driving.
No, we don't at all. And that's the coffee and the waters. If you didn't realize that it changed from a bunch of beer
to the whole table to
I got Dill too drunk and we had to cut.
Not me. No. water and a beer.
Yeah, Dill sucked down like one beer and cut himself off.
I know my limits.
Yeah, still you have to learn mine.
That was one thing you always said. You were like, I don't know how you have that self-control.
Yeah, like to be able to sit there and be like, yeah, I'm tipsy. No, I'm cutting myself off. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting better about it now that I'm older. But yeah, when I was a kid, sometimes I'll just sit there and be like, I feel like I could drink 5 more beers. And then like I'm 4 ones in and I'm sloppy. And I'm like, oh, wait, never mind.
You're like crawling on the floor. Open the last one. Pour it in for me.
Rock bottom.
you're like crawling like the army crawl. Like, just pour it from there. I'm good.
Hit me from up top.
the long bomb. Just toss it.
Hit me with the Hail Mary. The Blitz Hail Mary.
Put it in a squirt gun. Shoot it from there. I don't want to.
I've done that. Yeah.
You're on like a couch. Hit me.
I actually think we tried that at Sam Spalding's house on 4th of July. I think we put liquor in a squirt gun and tried it. Avery was there and all of us. Yeah, that was
that summer.
Yeah, Sam's parents. If you're watching this, we destroyed your house that day. Truly though, Isaac was rambunctious as ever.
Not surprising.
We were trying to stack like 4 people like in the pools and like on the decks. Avery was the base, of course.
Has to be.
Isaac was top out.
No, Avery was the top. Sam was the bottom. Sam was the base.
No, Isaac was the bottom, and then Avery was the very tip top. No, it was always.
Well, no, they had Avery at the top, and then they had a couple dogs.
Yeah.
For the
one cat.
They had a cat.
The cat was under the water at the base.
He did live through it.
Yeah, Chuckles was good.
Chuckles held strong. I've never seen a cat with paws
that's sturdy. Yeah,
that's
sturdy as paws are.
We talked about balance earlier.
Yeah, exactly. A brick. Yeah, that was one conversation we had walking was how sturdy is a brick or how balanced.
How well a cinder block balances.
And I was like, yeah, if you lay it flat, it's pretty balanced, but if you put it on anything else, it's probably not. And then he was like a stack of cinder blocks.
And they're like, ooh, that will balance.
That's unsturdy.
And then we talked about it being the house.
Yeah, the 3 little pigs.
The 3 little pigs, and how if you put them on the side, the wolf will be like, well, I'm in your house.
I don't know we to get in. I can just reach through and grab you.
But then he couldn't pull them through. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he'd probably pull off little strips of bacon. Strips. That's how they came about.
He just pulled on the pig and it became bacon.
Just sliced them through. He pulled the bacon and like.
It's like when you grip something too hard and it like seeps through your finger.
Like Play-Doh or something. That's what he did to the pig. He pulled it through and the bricks just like spread it out.
He pulled like the pig and it just like it's like a
Laffy Taffy them through.
Like
shredded.
Like a cheese shredder. He pulled it through and it just like became like blocks of bacon.
Just right onto like a stove.
it like drops right down into a frying pan.
Big skillet.
He's like, ah.
Have you ever traced your trains of thought by yourself sitting there and like been like, whoa, how did I get on that? And you're like, I was just thinking about religion. How did I think about the first time I ever was baptized, to think about the girl I thought about in church when I was baptized, to think about how I met that girl, to think about how I met one of my best friends, and to think about how you meet people. Like, I don't know, whoa, I was thinking about religion. And then
I had that whenever I went back to listening to Christian music after a long time, and I heard a song, and it had nothing to do with someone, but I had, you know how you can, whenever you hear a song, you automatically think of a person?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like the girl you're crushing on at the time.
Yeah.
I listened to the song, and I'm like, yo, I was crushing on this girl at the time. Holy crap, I haven't thought about her in years. She's got 2 kids. I was like, what? What is going on? And that was like in 7th grade.
What song, may I ask? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
You're like, it was, Who Let the Dogs Out.
No, it was a church song. That was the thing. It was a worship song.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That has nothing to do with her. But I was crushing on her at the time.
That you listened to that?
And I was listening to that, and like, I'm so lost. And then I like thought of everything, like whenever I was crushing on her, and like that whole, because it was at church camp.
Yeah.
Because I'm always at church camp, and it was at church camp, and I was like, I remembered that whole week of camp, and I was like, holy crap, what a flashback. This is like, I felt like I was waiting for the time you dropped your pencil.
I know, and I almost
you've been playing with it this entire episode, and then I'm like, yeah, I can't believe you finally dropped it.
Yeah, it's about time, honestly. And I almost knocked over the trash can again too. I saw a study that said people who can spin their pencils, it first off makes you look smarter, and then supposedly helps you keep train of thought.
Oh wow!
And so, and
Maybe
which is probably complete bullshit. Honestly, I read it on the internet, and it was not a credible site. Like
Facebook post. Source probably BuzzFeed.
It was one of those damn memes.
the memes got me.
But so I started learning how, and I'd sit there in class, like in like, you know, big study, or not study, lectures, like lecture halls, and like, you know, they drop down like level, and I'd be spinning my pencil, and it would go and like shoot off, and it would like land and like roll down a couple things.
And at that point, you're just like,
yeah. And sometimes like if I didn't have it, like I would have to be like, hey, like is that mine? And then sometimes if like no one noticed, I'll just grab a new pencil
and it starts spinning that. I can just imagine you in a lecture hall, and there's like a pile of them. They're like, man, what did you bring to class? Did you bring anything? No, it's just a backpack full of pencils.
Where's your book? Your bag is full. It's just a bunch of Dixon Ticonderogas is my favorite pencil, by the way. This is just the number 2.
Dixon
Ticonderoga.
Ticonderoga.
Yeah, it's really easy to pronounce, and so whenever you see it, you'll notice, and it's just Dixon, Dixon, Ticonderoga, Ticonderoga. It's like really like, it's like the pronunciation is super easy when you see it.
Had to break it down for me.
Had to, man.
Yeah.
Syllables.
Low-level reading.
Yeah, low-level reading with Dill. That's another name of the show. Low-level reading with Dill.
I'm still reading Magic Treehouse.
Hey, don't make fun of Magic Treehouse.
Magic Treehouse were the bomb.
My favorite teacher ever read those to me. Miss War in 1st grade. She was my favorite teacher ever. What grade was your best teacher? That your favorite? Who you had the most fun with?
Let's see.
This will be interesting for the Salem people.
We just talking 1st through 5th grade, or kindergarten through 5th grade, where you had a specific
unless you
teacher.
had a high school teacher who truly made an impact.
Oh God, I had a lot of high school teachers that made an impact. I'll go.
No, a positive, truly positive. Thought they were just like the reason why I like Miss War, and her name was War. Hoar. Great family, great everything. I still to this day I think she talks about me, and I still obviously talk about her. But she just was truly kind-hearted, and she was the only teacher that went through all my brothers and still looked at me with a fresh pair of eyes and was like, you know, like he's his own person. She even told us that. She's like, you all were just like different. Like it was so fun. Each of you had your own little, like you all were the same in the fact that like you did the same mischief, you did the same sense of humor stuff, but overall your personalities were just a little bit different. She's like, I love seeing that. Like I got to see 4 different kids from the same family, you know, and teach them for a whole year. And she like truly found that interesting and exciting, and that's what's cool about teaching is the fact that she sat there and was like, found that as an opportunity, not like, oh, I have 4 fucking Brackney kids. Sorry for the F-bomb again. And like 4 Brackney kids, and like one of them was terrible and all that stuff, and like, which 1st grade is a hard grade to, you know, put a strong impression on someone, but you'd be surprised that the teachers that hated me because I mean 2nd grade teacher Miss Crane had Joe, and I mean I never have felt a stronger hate from a girl than that girl to this day. Like
towards Joe or
towards me because of Joe.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like she sat there and told me like one time I got in trouble. I said ass, and I had fallen in the mulch, and someone said something like, what are you doing, man? I said, I'm getting all the mold shot of my ass. And she heard me say it, and she's like, I was pulling out of my shorts, and she came up and like grabbed me by the neck and was like, you're going to detention, and like took me to the office and everything. Was like so happy that she caught me saying it, and was the entire way like, your parents didn't teach you any respect. You must have terrible parents to even like watch over you all, like all this stuff. And like I remember sitting there like thinking to myself like, how is this girl a teacher? Like she's sitting there and telling me my parents don't love me, basically. Like you know, and then I'm sitting there like, and I remember I finally just turned. I was like, and I'm like, and like let me like remind you, second grade. And like I have a very strong vocabulary. Still, obviously, it's slipped up a couple times, and I'm not talking about like a very deep vocabulary or whatever. I'm talking about a bad one, like curse words and stuff.
Yes.
And so from having older brothers, you know, when I was in second grade, I had a brother who was in eighth. You know, so like it was.
So you had that.
Yeah, I had that knowledge, and of course, we were hanging out with all of us all the time. So my brothers were cursing at me, and even thinking it was fun to teach me to curse. So I like turned around and like in second grade, vividly remember standing in the exact hallway. Like we were standing right in front of ended up being my third grade teacher's room, and I turned around and just was like, F you, like, you know, like you want to sit there and tell me all this stuff, like, you know, like you don't know anything, like I know like you have kids and everything, and you don't even hang out with your kids, like all your kids fucking hate you, like all this stuff. Like I love my mom, and like I still hang out with my mom because she lets me do all this stuff. And like, you know what I mean, like went off and like obviously, you know, I ended up as a good kid. I'm going to college and all that stuff, like this stuff. And it's like she just at that time literally was so just narrow-minded that she thought that I was just some terrible kid because I said the A word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was baffling. And at that stage I remember thinking like I almost hated West Washington as like a whole thing, just because I was like, all it's full of is these arrogant, you know, narrow-minded people. Which it's not.
Let's see. I think
you never said your favorite teacher.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I definitely think Mr. Catlin. Mr. Catlin was my 5th grade teacher. He had my brother and I, and he came to both of our open houses, and like after we graduated.
Wow.
And like, for me, like he was asking about me and my brothers.
See, not a single teacher ever came to any of ours.
Yeah,
ever.
That's and he
Isn't
was
that weird?
He was the only one who came to mine, which is strange.
Was that popular for teachers to go to other kids? Like, did you hear? See, never heard that.
Yeah,
and I don't know, like, other kids are sitting there thinking like, oh, my teachers came to mine, and
I sent invites. I think I invited him.
I guess that's one thing I didn't invite anyone.
Yeah,
like my friends didn't go to mine. It was all family.
Like he's such a very. Oh, you're totally fine. Sorry, you in your comfort zone.
They're probably like, ugh.
Not dipping. Unless you're from Washington County, they're like, ooh.
All the girls are like, wait a second, I think I'm attracted to Matt now.
Here we go.
Any shoes?
Matt Brackney's number will not be in the description, unfortunately. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, you know, it's already getting blown up.
That's why your phone's dead. Because it's being blown up.
Yeah, that's why I go without a phone.
Because it's always blowing up.
Yeah.
You can never get a
free moment in time, you know?
Yeah, you just keep it dead. You just carry it around because it's nice to have that in your pocket.
It makes me look cool if I'm like, and it's good to like, you know, ask me something, just any question.
Hold
on. Right, you know.
My bad. Hey, Dad, what's up? just ditch a conversation.
Hey, Fagere. No, the funny thing is I make a joke at work is I say like no one will bother you if you act like you're doing something. And if they come up and like I work for a catering company and like I'm doing venue operations, so when we're setting up for events, they're like, Matt, we need like the room to look like this. Can you get a couple people? And like at first I started off really low. I was setting the tables, like doing linens and stuff, like really dumb work. And then I recently got promoted, I told you about, and now I'm like, you know, in charge of a little bit and stuff, and like they have me lead and things like that. So like they'll be like, Matt, go and like, you know, get that table done or whatever. But if they come up to me and like I just don't feel like doing anything or taking it on, I'll just literally start counting. Like, and like you think I'm joking, but I mean dead serious. Like, well, I'll just be sitting around silverware, like talking with like Jason. I worked with like all my good friends and stuff, and like my brother's girlfriend. Like, you know, I work with all these people. We all got them hired on. Like, you know, we just started like all my friends work at the place of work now and everything. And I'll just be talking to them. They'll come up and I'll just literally be like sitting there like, Matt, are you doing something? I'm like, yeah. And they'll be like, okay. And they'll just walk away and I'll just literally act like I'm counting or doing something else. Sometimes I'll organize. I'll just pick up stuff and start literally like stuff that's around. Pointless. Yeah, like that's absolutely asinine. Like, and they're just like, and you know, they're just like, oh, okay. Like he looks busy. We'll assume it's true.
The disguise is real.
I'm really good at tricking people into thinking I work.
I think I also had a lot of high school teachers that were like so impactful. I think of like Paul Bosley. I don't know if you know him.
No, but there are some teachers. I'll let you finish that, but I would like to If you reflect
I'll
on
talk about Paul real quick. Paul was, to be honest, he wasn't like, for his teaching style, wasn't well liked. But Paul was
What for, though? What was...
He was math, so he did Algebra 2, trigonometry.
Yeah, but what was it? The fact that it was study or the way he taught it?
The way he taught it was
What was wrong with it?
It was a little difficult. Sometimes...
Even to you?
Yeah, I failed trig.
Really?
Mm-hmm, that was the only class I ever failed.
I dropped out of trig.
I took the... I can't remember what it was, but I took the F, basically, and then I retook it the next year and got a B.
That's cool.
But, like... He was willing to work with you after class. He was willing to, take the time to describe it, but yet it was still like hard material. So like sometimes he would just get through his lesson and then like you go to work and it would still be a little lost to you.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a little bit like lost in translation stuff.
Yeah.
But Paul was, I called him Paul in high school too. Yeah. I never called him Mr. Bosley.
I could never get away with that with any of my teachers.
Paul was just like. He was just like Mr. Callan in a way. He was just like a farm guy, and he never felt like he was. Even though he taught at IUS too, and he never. I don't feel like he ever felt like he was superior.
Did he teach math there too as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
obviously, I guess he would kind of.
He like there were times when I would just go to his class after school. Just go hang out with him and just talk.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there's teachers that I remember some people when I was back in high school. I would talk to them. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm having lunch in so and so's room," and that was like super uncommon. Like,
I did.
I mean, we never had lunch in other people's room. I'd go to my football coach's room, but it's the gym. You know what I mean? I'd go and sit in the gym. But like classes, but name some of the teachers. I'll tell you, and just go through a list of them and really quickly spin them off, and I'll tell you which ones I heard that were cool.
Mr. Carter. I don't know, Mr. Carter. We actually went to his classroom every morning before school. For 3 years, and then I ate lunch in his class almost every day for an entire semester.
What did he teach?
He taught senior English. So
I feel like English teachers are always almost pretty like, and they're just good to talk to. You know what I mean? Like my mom's an English teacher, and I feel like she's just very sociable. Like,
that's how Mr. Hewitt was. Mr. Hewitt he taught 10th grade English. He taught 10th, 11th, and at some points 9th grade English.
Is that a little like, what would you call that? Like labeling to be like English teachers are just generally more fun to talk to.
Well,
because I mean, your math teacher was cool.
Yeah, and then I also had like Mr. Calhoun.
That's the one.
Calhoun.
That's the name.
Calhoun. Yeah, he is the man.
Everyone ate lunch at Calhoun's. Is whenever I was talking, like they all like would say,
really?
Like, yeah, we're going to hang out with the Calhoun's at lunch. And I just remember being like, you're hanging like in high school. I'm in like 10th grade, and I was like, you're hanging out with your teacher.
I remember one time we had. It's senior year, you had like this dead hour. I think that's how it was. You had like an hour where you could like, I think that's how it was. I don't necessarily remember, but you had like a break hour, and every senior had it, I think. And we would go up there to his. This was in March, so it was during March Madness, the tournament.
Yeah.
And we were doing like some extra classwork, but then like we all put it down, and it was like Brock Bush, Cody Brown, myself, and Mr. Calhoun, and we had 3 computers, all with different games, and then he had his big TV on with the Purdue game because he was a Purdue grad, and Purdue fan. So we watched 4 games at a time in his classroom with him, and was like, "This is awesome."
Yeah, that is cool.
Mr. Hewitt was fun because like he just let us have like stupid nicknames for him. Like I remember he signed my yearbook because everyone's big about having people sign their yearbooks, and I had done a project over Braveheart.
Yeah.
The movie, but I also read the book on the side, and the main villain his name was Longshanks, and he wrote in my yearbook, "Dylan, call me Longshanks, Mr. Hewitt," and I was like, "What? What is this?" Other teachers.
Longshanks.
I hung out with Mr. McCurdy because I was in guitar club my senior year. I don't know.
You were in guitar club? Do you know how to pick?
I used to. I taught myself.
Electric or acoustic?
Both.
Really?
I taught myself for 2 or 3 years.
That's really cool. That Luke and Johnny are both self-taught, and Luke is pretty good. Johnny's got better because he does it more, but Luke was naturally just a better one. Yeah, that was cool. Luke was left-handed, so he would he had to memorize the strings completely backwards.
Oh,
so
that's...
he'd flip a guitar, and he would be hitting, like I don't even know the string names, but C or whatever the fuck they are. I don't even know them. But he'd be hitting the top strings like like the bottom strings at the top, and like I don't know, it was really cool just watching him be able to do it.
That's cool. Another one that we actually hung out with, I haven't talked to her in years though. Her name was Marcia. She was the study hall like supervisor.
Study hall teachers were always cool.
And we went there every day. It was called activity period. It was like a 20-minute period and so like that was where you went to like your club meetings and stuff. And every day during activity period, we would go.
That's what's in
every day we would go hang out with Marcia and play euchre.
Really?
Every day.
Euchre.
For 20 minutes, we would play euchre with her.
I'm still gonna, even though I'm new to it. I learned my senior year of high school. I still am gonna declare myself as Washington County's best euchre player.
That is a total lie because I know that I am better than you. That got awkward. I was wondering, I was like, are we just going to end the show now? Is that where we're going to end it?
It's going to be my first walk-off.
No signing off, no nothing.
That's how the show just ends for now.
Gone. But yeah.
That's a fun game, man.
Yeah, and we played a lot.
Oh, yeah. Back when Isaac lived with me, that was fun. We had Mary and Michelle and all them would come over.
Yeah.
The Goodicks would, they ate that up. They were the ones who taught me.
The Goodicks were?
Mm-hmm. Yep. No wonder I suck so bad. I'm just kidding.
Sucks to suck, Darren.
Yeah, D-Dog's the worst euchre player out of everyone I've ever played with.
Marcia was horrible. I think Marcia maybe called trumps twice in 3 years. She passed on every damn hand that came around to her. I'm like, Marcia, call something, please.
No, as I say, calling like Isaac. I think one of the things that make people good is the fact of calling. Like Isaac, he'll just call it on anything.
Yeah, sometimes you just have like, it's reading what's happened, and you have to like take a guess.
Yeah, it's actually cool. Like once you get good at it, it's really fun to sit there and be like, oh man, like I can almost predict that like
this person is this person is
exactly.
this.
Like it truly is. Yeah, you start figuring.
It's almost like counting cards when you gamble.
Yeah,
because like
it's just like
you have to read what's been used, what's happening, and then you can be like, I can make an educated guess that this person has this card, and I can say that I'm safe. One of the biggest things
people don't like pay attention to the card you flip down sometimes, and then they'll like they forget that that's in the mix, and like, man, who has that card? And you're like, I got flipped down a while back.
And that's why sometimes you go like alone because like you may know like, oh, that card's out of my way. I have free points.
Yeah, exactly. If that one's out, and I choose like the opposite suit of that,
or the opposite bower. Yeah.
Like say if there's a jack of clubs lay down and that flips around and you have spades, you call it spades. You're like, I know the left is gone.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about that. I can take this free and then not worry about. And like if you have right and then the ace, then you can play the ace. And they're like, oh, I don't know who has the right, and you can fish it out. You can fish out some things, and then you can play the right, and they're like, oh, I'm screwed. Yeah,
and they're like, who has the left? And some people forget that it was turned down, or even that, and you're like, you force them out. Yeah, euchre. So for the people that don't know euchre, this is probably so confusing for them. They're like, right, left, ace, what?
Directions? You're giving me directions to the gas station?
It was right, left. Well, right, left. Because I turned right.
Yeah, you did.
Turned right and then left into it.
You could have just went
straight through.
Let's see.
I hit a red.
Well, we did the turnaround too.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, because we didn't like pull right up to the
log. Yeah.
During the log,
I was speeding up to you. Like logs right here.
Logs right here.
So we hit the restaurant and bars.
I did want to hear your best experience because you were talking about the turtles.
Okay, so I think even if you don't know anything about me and you don't, appreciate stuff, for, I guess those who do know me know how different in some aspects I am, and it just describes my whole college experience. I have I found a way to make it different because people they're like, oh, the city, all that stuff, it's different. How did you bring your Washington County thing and experience it there? Because obviously you don't leave that part behind you. And so I get the opportunity. I'm 20, 19, turn 20, and I get an opportunity to work at a bar. 20, and I was going to the bars with fake IDs. I had which not condoning it, terrible idea, And I was using one of my older brother's IDs, who was 26, my oldest brother at the time, and I'm sitting there at 20. Using his ID to get to the bars, and I get to know the bartenders, and I tip really well. I've always tipped really well. I've always been very generous in that aspect, and got the bartenders to like it. And one of the bartenders moved up to management position at the Howl at the Moon, the bar I was talking about that I started off there. And he mentioned to one of my friends who's in event management, I'm in business management, and he mentioned to my friend that was in events and was like, hey, I want to start an event here. but I'm trying to find someone who'd work on it for really cheap. And Jason's like, I would do it. My roommate, who's the event management major, he was like, I'll do it for intern experience as long as you count it, claim it as an intern, and I can turn it into school. And he's like, I'll do it for free. And the guy was like, 100%. And he's like, I can find friends to do it if you just hire them on real cheap. And he was like, yeah. And so he's like, I mentioned him. And he's like, yeah, I know your friend Matt. Like, he's cool. He's in business management. Like, get him on and he can help with it. And so we get all of our friends on and stuff. And he's like, the idea is turtle racing. And like, we're like, how are you going to do it? Is it going to be like a stick and like, like with like a turtle on it and it like moves? Like, dumb. Like, we're just like, like coming out with all these ideas. Like, no, I literally want to race turtles. And like, and have it as an event out on the street before the bars, like people come into the bars. And so we discuss it. We sit down and we're crunching numbers. We're doing all this stuff. And he comes up with the idea. And he's like, let's do it on college night when everyone's out and about. And we'll start it at 7:00 and it'll go till 10. And then that's whenever everyone comes out to the bar. So it can be their pregame. And you can win free drinks. And so we talk about the idea, the best way to do it. We find bars who have done it out in Georgia, not Georgia, but out in like other places like North Dakota. There was a bar. Out in Louisiana, there was a bar. Like places that do it. Texas, there's a bar. And so what you do is we got this big circular map, say it's like this size, we're going to narrow it down, and then you have this thing, which is like a little bucket, and we put it over top of the turtles in the middle of this big circular thing, and then we like say 3, 2, 1, everyone's gathered around this big mat, there's bleachers, we put barricades up, and we rented out the street, like, me and my friend, we went through all this stuff, and rented barricades, got a DJ, got a 100.9 radio now, Indianapolis's radio station, we got them to sponsor it, like all this stuff, and count it down, everyone's gathered around, we lift it up, and the turtles would race, and the first one to cross the thing, and so they could scatter in any direction, and it was all the same distance from the middle, so it was fair, and we'd race it, and we named them differently, and we put little stickers on their back, a green sticker, a blue sticker for all their names, and we had George, we named them after the Ninja Turtles, Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello and Michael. No, we didn't have Donatello. We had Michelangelo, and we didn't have Donatello, and we had Raphael and Leo, and Ralph, Leo. What was the other one you named?
We didn't have Donatello. Michelangelo.
Yeah, so Mikey. It was Mikey. So it was Michael, Mikey, Raphael, Ralph, and then Leo, and then we had George for Paul George from the Pacers, and then Pat for Pat McAfee from the Colts.
Yeah, everyone's favorite drunkard.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's favorite.
And so we had those, and people found it real fun, and they would bet on it. And we had the turtles out. Obviously, people come back, and they would have turtles that they stuck on. Like, I'm going for Ralph all the way, Ralph all night, and like, it was cool. And if you won, your turtle won, we handed out cards. I would sit at a table with me and my other friend. We'd switch off on the duty. And before every race, people would come up and they would pick. We had all these cards that had their names on it, and you would write it, and they pick it up, and we write what round it was and like the date on it, so they couldn't reuse it. And we'd give it to them, and if that turtle won that round, they got a free drink, and that's how the pregame was. And you can almost guarantee there was like 6 races, or there's 6 heats, 3 races a heat. So you're having 18 races, and each one was an opportunity to win a drink, and you have 1/6 odds, to get it. And so, eventually you're getting it. No matter what, it's just your odds were playing out.
How long did you guys work the races?
From August to November.
Wow.
And and it was awesome. We had party buses. I would go to Butler and pick up people and bring them to the turtle races. And we were even able to hire on like Joe, a rubber, to get on the buses and we'd give them like a 12-pack of beer and some Jello shots from the bar, and they would put them on the party bus and like go to Butler, get people to come to the turtle races. So when they come downtown, they don't go to other bars, get them to come here. So Joe would sit there with a 12-pack. That was his job, was to sell on this party bus at 7:00 and drive there and back from Butler on this party bus, handing out beers and promoting Howl the Moon. And it was, turtle races, and like he was to sell the event. And so, Joe was just like, catch like a part of Indiana, like country, like in the city, or racing turtles. And I had the funnest time of my life working with all my friends, racing turtles. I mean, I was giving out free drinks. I could control how many drinks I gave out free. And I mean, all I have to do is if a friend showed up, I would just write whatever. I would say, what Ralph won race 2 heat 3, and I'd write like race 2 heat 3 on a Ralph card and hand it to my friends, and I'd take it up and they would check it and they'd say, yeah, he did win that race. And they didn't know I was writing on there for them, so they could go and get free drinks. I was getting, before Joe started working, I was getting Joe plastered every time, like anyone, all my friends, all my foreign friends that were coming and stuff, like it was really cool. Like and they didn't care. Like, I mean, the people at the bar knew I was going to give away free drinks and stuff, and it was just like,
yeah.
And we actually lost money on the turtle races, but gained, like, their revenue increased by like 10,000 that night or something, just because it brought so many more people.
So it was So it still came out in the positive.
Absolutely, yeah. The revenue increased, but like they shut down the turtle races because they saw we were losing money. What they don't realize is that like the revenue was increasing by $10,000 and we were losing $2,000 on the races after all the barricades, the DJ rental, all that stuff. You know, and the DJ was announcing it 3 times a week or whatever, or 3 days, 3 times a day. You know, for 3 weeks we had been doing it, like announcing it, like, you know, mentioning them like on Thursday nights and all that stuff. And so like we were paying for good publicity and stuff, and it brought. But the only reason why we lost money, if we wouldn't have gave out free drinks and only did that, and it didn't cost money to bet. That's what's cool. The entrance was free, betting was free. The only reason why you did it is to win a free drink.
Yeah, and so there's no loss.
Yeah, there's no loss, and you guys watch turtles race. And in a cool environment, we had intermissions where we do a beer pong shot, and you get free koozies, T-shirts, or like pizza, like discounts. Hotbox was right next to it, so Hotbox would give us like little cards out, and we'd be like line people up and like, come and do the beer pong shot, like in line, whatever, and we'd hand the balls, and it was just the first 3 to make a shot from distance, and you just run through. It was like knockout basically.
Yeah.
And you just do it, the first one to make a shot, and the first 3 to make a shot, like got some.
That's
awesome.
Awesome.
Really cool, but that was my best experience
That's pretty cool.
by far. What about yours?
Best experience, holy crap. There's a lot. I mean, I think of...
You're probably going to choose some Bible thing, right?
I was going to say church camp was pretty important.
Yeah.
Church camp is important just as growth as an individual.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes my best experiences are the experiences like we have, just where you just like talk.
Yeah, sit down and talk with
where
someone.
you connect. It doesn't have to be anything big. I mean,
Yeah.
I think of there's times where I meet up with the guys and we just sit around and like die laughing. Like there's
Yeah.
been times where I could not breathe because I was laughing so hard. I remember there was one time Avery was laughing so hard that his nose bled. It was quite a...
It could have been that or the copious amounts of cocaine. No, I'm just kidding.
Not that.
I'm just kidding.
It was...
He does
but-
meth, not coke.
Yeah. The hard stuff. Right?
Yeah, Avery doesn't play with that weak stuff.
He ain't about that.
He got that weak life.
Don't believe anything you hear, Angie.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
He probably is going to watch this stuff. Angie, by the way, is probably one of my favorite mothers, and I don't know her at all. We don't know a thing about each other, and like
Angie is amazing.
she'll even comment on some of my stuff, and you know, be like, "You seem like such a sweet boy," and all this stuff, and like, still to this day, the first time you probably heard the story. The first time we met, I was talking really vulgar. I thought we were the only ones home alone, and his mom was sitting on the computer in their basement, and we walked past her, and he didn't say anything to her, so I didn't acknowledge her, and I just was looking straight. I didn't know.
Had no idea.
Yeah. And it was dark down there, and she was on the computer, and we go down there, and I'm just talking vulgar, saying like dumb stuff, obviously joking, but you know, being really stupid about it, and like Avery's just like not really laughing at it, and I'm like, you know, what the hell? Avery's being like a little baby, like he normally cracks up at this stuff, and then like I know he like gives me the eyes, and like I look over at his mom's on the computer, and like I just remember being so embarrassed I didn't say a word to her, and then the next time I met her, I tried to pull the thing where I was like, it's really nice to meet you, Leah, like I've never met you, and all that. She's like, yeah, it's really nice to meet you for the first time too, and like that's another thing. I'm like, oh crap, like
Yeah, she knows.
But yeah, to this day we kind of joke about that because it was obviously not who I am, but it was a funny side she saw.
Heck, I still...
Dumb I am.
There was, let's see, when was this? A few weeks ago. It was right before Avery left for Orlando, and I went over there and just talked with Todd and Angie for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, "Are you gonna come home and hang out with me?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I have a mom.
I have my own family.
I have my own family."
I was gonna say, like, I talked to him, but like very minuscule amounts, and it's not for long at all, and it's just quick by. Like with Todd, I barely talk to at all, and I think it's even more like a little bit just like, you know, moms just talk to kids more. They adapt it on, like the dads don't.
I think they also connect with me because they graduated with my dad.
Oh really?
They knew my dad in high school, and they knew the crazy antics that he pulled. He is not like me at all.
I was about to say, the way you explain your dad just does.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, your dad was a character in high school. I go, yeah, I know. I know. But, like, it's strange because, like, they're my dad's age, you know, like, they're 1 year younger than my mom. But yet, like, I'm over there hanging out with them. Like,
Yeah.
my girlfriend and I almost went on a double date for her 21st birthday with Todd and Angie. And everyone's like,
the best double date ever. Angie, if you ever, you know, you and Todd need a couple to go out. I don't have a girlfriend or anyone, but you know, I'll get what do you call those people that come with you? one of the girls you buy and they just go with you?
Mail order.
Not that far. Not that far. An escort.
Escort.
Yeah, I'll purchase an escort, Angie.
That's so strange. You get an escort just so you can go on a double date with Todd and Andy.
That's how much I want to.
I almost lucked out.
I would
and did.
purchase an escort. I was like,
I was like, man, no, not buy an escort.
I wonder if anyone else has double dated with them. That's outside the family. Man. Like younger.
Younger?
Man, because
maybe Avery and Aunt. Well, outside the family.
Yeah, I was about to say that's unfair. You can't let them.
Yeah.
Honest, still to this day, honest Mexican.
When
I first met her, I was like, I would completely joke around with her. I obviously knew she was not Mexican, and she has the foreign accent, and all that stuff, and it's obviously not a Spanish or Mexican accent or anything. And I just remember being like, "Where are you from?" And just before she answered, I was like, "Mexico," and she was like, "No, don't ever say that again." Like, how nice she is. She was obviously judgmental and stuff. And every time I'd introduce someone to them, I'd be like, "By the way, she's like from Mexico," and she likes talking about like ask her. And anytime I would introduce a girl to her or anything, I'd always be like, guess where she's from, and then I'll like behind her back, where to Mexico, and they'd be like, Mexico, and she'd be like, no, I think that.
She gets so mad. I'm not going to use names, and you may know who this is, but I remember Avery telling me there was a person who said that she was from Korea.
Oh, whisper the name on a hand.
Of course it would be.
Oh, man.
That's the best.
If only you knew.
If only you knew. Like if you knew what was on this card.
The back of the card.
The back.
Oh, he threw it away.
And with us throwing away the card, I think it's time to call it a night. It's almost midnight.
By the way, I appreciate it, Dill.
We're not going to end just yet.
I know, but just for the look on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hope you had a great time, though.
No, I did. It was awesome, and sorry that we ranted so much, guys. I hope if you care about Dill, you should listen to it, because I tried to ask him his insights on it as well. Not many people are going to know me or care to hear what I have to say.
And the people who do know us, you got a big taste of the Washington County view.
Yeah. Oh man. That's just. I mean, I don't see any other way around renaming the show.
Well, it's going to be episode 7. The Washington County View R-rated. Because that language would not make a PG-13.
Explicit, yeah.
Quite explicit.
Yeah, on iTunes, or it has like the explicit someone next to it.
It's got that like red.
Yeah. You
so like whenever you pull it up on your phone or on like an iPod, it actually shows like the red. Like ooh.
Ooh, should I watch this episode?
I'll remember that. This is not the edited cut.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I appreciate it, Dill.
Yeah. It's been a blast.
Hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it at home. Mm-hmm. I'm Dylan St. Clair. That's Buds Aplenty, episode 8.
Signing off.
Cut. Had a blast.
I had a blast too, man.
That was so much fun.